Hello students, this is going to be a short introduction to the extended essay. You'll be working on this project over the next few months, and completing it is one of the major milestones of the IB Diploma program. While you likely already know a few of the details about your EE, I'm going to remind you now of a few things. First, the EE is a required component of your IB Diploma. It's a piece of formal academic writing, and it's sustained over a period of months. The end product is an essay that'll be a maximum of 4,000 words, plus 3 reflections that together can be a maximum of 500 words. The extended essay is marked on a scale from A through E, similar to your TOK essay. In order to qualify for the IB Diploma, you need to submit a completed essay, and it needs to be awarded a mark of D or higher. The extended essay is externally assessed, meaning that it's marked by an IB examiner, not by one of your teachers here at the school. The extended essay process is intended to take approximately 40 hours. It's important that you monitor your time on this. Don't let it become a 100-hour project, and don't shortchange yourself and turn it into a 10-hour project either. Throughout the process, you'll be supported by a supervisor. That'll be one of your teachers here at the school. With your supervisor, you'll have 3 mandatory reflection sessions. These are an opportunity to talk to your supervisor, get feedback and advice, and plan how to move forward with your extended essay. The first session is your opportunity to discuss your planned research question and your planned approach to addressing that question. The second session is a check-in to reflect on your progress so far, to ask any questions you might have, and to ensure that your plan for completing your essay is reasonable and doable. Your final session with your supervisor is called the Viva Voce, and it's an opportunity for you to reflect on the process and research you've undertaken, and for the supervisor to ask any questions they may have for you. For each of these 3 reflection sessions, you'll be writing a written reflection of somewhere between 100 to 200 words. In total, the 3 reflections make up less than 500 words. In addition to these 3 mandatory reflection sessions, you're also welcome to communicate with your supervisor as questions come up, or when you need input on something. They'll also be reading your draft essay and providing feedback on it prior to you submitting your final work. One of your first responsibilities is to decide on a subject and an initial topic. Then, you'll need to schedule your first interview with your supervisor to discuss your topic and propose a research question. We'll have some more information for you about how to develop a research question within the next week or 2. It's your responsibility to familiarize yourself with the rules for the extended essay. Again, we'll post that information for you, or you can ask your supervisor for clarification. You'll need to read any information you're provided about requirements specific to your subject, and make sure that you understand the assessment criteria. It's vitally important that you stay on track with all of the deadlines, not just your draft and final submission, but dates for determining your subject, for scheduling your reflection sessions with your supervisor, and so on. It's your responsibility to read and understand both the school's and IB's policies on academic honesty, including plagiarism and collusion. Specifically, when you use words or ideas from someone else's work, you need to consistently and accurately acknowledge the source using a proper citation format. Finally, you need to make sure that you record your reflections after each of your 3 formal reflection sessions. We'll be using ManageBack for this purpose. You'll begin by selecting a subject. Your subject can be any of the subjects you're studying as part of your diploma. English and history are 2 of the most frequently chosen EE subjects, but you can also undertake an extended essay in French, in one of your sciences, or math. If you choose to do an extended essay in science, be aware that this will usually require you to do some independent lab work or experimental work. There's also an opportunity to do what's called a world studies essay. This is an interdisciplinary subject, and that means it asks you to examine a current issue of global significance through the lens of 2 or 3 academic subjects. For example, you might choose to examine the COVID-19 pandemic from a biological and an economic perspective. World Studies essays need to fit into one of 6 predefined themes. A couple of those are health and development, or conflict, peace, and security. Once you've chosen a subject, you'll need to select it on your extended essay page in ManageBack. After you've selected your subject, we'll assign you to a supervisor based on their subject area expertise. IB also provides specific guidelines to supervisors about what sort of help they can and cannot provide. Supervisors are not editors. They are not allowed to correct your spelling or punctuation. They can't fix any experimental errors you've made in a science EE or correct any mathematics. They're not allowed to rewrite any portion of your essay. They're not able to tell you specifically how to structure your essay or where to move particular things. When they read your work, they're not proofreading for errors, and they're not correcting your citations or your bibliography. Your supervisor is not able to read and reread drafts of your work over and over, or annotate or edit what they read. They are going to read one draft and provide high-level feedback on that draft before you submit your final work. During the writing process, they're allowed to help you focus on your research question, to provide advice on research approaches, and to answer your questions. Finally, you're not permitted to have anyone else read your work either. For example, having a tutor read and/or edit your work is considered academic dishonesty, and that would result in your EE not being submitted to the IB. After you submit your draft EE to your supervisor, they're going to provide you with some feedback. You'll have some time to incorporate their feedback and to do any final editing you need to do prior to the final deadline. Your supervisor will not be able to look at any additional drafts you produce during this time. Once you submit your final essay, you're not permitted to make any further changes. Let's take a look at the timeline for completing your EE. Over the next week, we'd like you to select a subject and formulate an initial idea for a topic. Your subject and topic should be posted on your EE plan in ManageBack. You should do a bit of initial research, find some sources about your topic, and start thinking about your research question. Your subject teacher may be able to provide some suggestions about sources to consult or help you to focus your initial thoughts somewhat. In early May, we'll assign you to a supervisor. Once you've been assigned to a supervisor, please schedule your initial reflection session with them. Prior to that session, you'll want to have formulated a research question and a basic plan for how you'll approach the research and writing of your essay. Through May, you'll continue doing research and you'll begin writing your essay. At some point in June, schedule your second reflective session with your supervisor to discuss your progress and ask any questions that have arisen as you've been researching and writing. The deadline for submitting your draft extended essay is near the end of June, so that you can relax and enjoy your summer. At some point, at least a couple of weeks before the final deadline, you'll receive feedback from your supervisor. After you've incorporated that feedback into your final work, you'll submit your final EE by the end of September, and you'll hold your final reflective session with your supervisor. This does seem like rather a lot. The extended essay is a big project, but it is manageable. You can do this. Stick with the timeline and work through the process one step at a time. If you have questions along the way or you're uncertain of how to move forward from where you are, ask your subject teacher or your supervisor or even your IB coordinator. We're happy to help.